So it's day 40, and in our Old Testament passage today we're looking at Exodus 4 to 6. And the thing that I'd love us to reflect on after our reading today is all about stability. What makes us feel stable and secure? Is it the way that we see ourselves or the way we see God? Is it the things that's going on around us, or is it the promises of God and who He is? Both of these things come to light in our passage today. There's amazing interaction that continues between God and Moses, and all of the miraculous signs that God gives Moses, and the instructions, and they're just mind-blowing. But all Moses can see is his own inadequacy. All he can see is what he is not able to do. So even faced with a stick becoming a snake and his hand becoming leprous and then not, even despite that, all he can see is what he's not able to do. And he keeps coming back at God. He keeps, there's always more that he's coming back at him. And eventually it says that the Lord's anger burned against him. Now, I really don't believe that God was angry with Moses because Moses felt inadequate. Human beings for the whole of history have felt inadequate, and in fact we are inadequate when it comes in comparison to a perfect God. But I think that what caused God's anger to burn against Moses was the fact that his inadequacies, Moses' sense of his own inadequacy, his own insecurity became bigger to him, bigger in his mind than who God is, than what God is able to do and what God had promised that he was going to do. And there comes a point for all of us where we have to surrender that sense of our own fear and our own insecurities and say they might feel real, but in comparison to who you are, God, the way I feel about myself, it's got to come in line with you. It's not as big as I'm making it seem. We have to trust God more than we look to our own failings. And if we don't do that, we will be unstable. The next thing that comes up in this theme is in this reading today is that when Moses goes and meets with the leaders of Israel, they love it, and they love that God has heard them. And when they see the signs, they believed. It says in 4 verse 30. And when they see the signs, they believe, and when they realise that God has heard them, they bow down and worship. I mean, what an amazing response! And yet, of course, Moses goes to Egypt. Things get very tricky. Life gets harder, and they get angry. And they say, they turn to Moses, how could you have let this happen? Life has got even harder for us now. And so therefore their sense of security, their sense of hope, it was fleeting. That moment of worship, the minute things got tough around them, they were unstable, they were thrown around. And for us, maybe this summer we heard again the promises of God. Maybe we encountered God in a new way, and we heard his voice, and we understood something more of his promises and plans in our life. And at the time, our response was worship. But maybe now, life feels a bit more chaotic again. And the choice is, where are we going to derive our stability? What is going to make us feel secure today? What in fact does make us secure today? It is God. It is who he is. It is his unchanging love for us. We can count on that. Have a good day. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless.